Good morning, everyone. Okay, you can chant. Okay, so today I would like to share with you two things basically during the life, what we can do as meaningful life, and also what to do after die. That's all, die, reborn, die, born. That we are doing like two things in our, I guess, life or after die or when we be born, things like that. So those two, basically, death and the birth. If you know how to live, you know how to die. If you know how to die, then you know how to live. If you don't know how to live, you don't know how to die. If you don't know how to die, you don't know how to live. I don't know. So they're very much depend the same. And so there's a five. Basically, there's a five preparation for the dying, but these five preparation also for the living. Okay, so those five. I think I give you also handout already, but I don't want you to look at it right now. Okay, like I said, I want you to pay attention to me. Teaching, but this five is the five preparation. Later you can read this five. One is called conversational. Two is imaginational. And third is ethical. And then fourth is meditational. And the fifth is intellectual. Okay, the five. Again, conversational, imaginational, and ethical, meditational, intellectual. I wrote here notes for you. So those four, I'm going to a little bit explaining to you one by one. What are they? A little bit, and then you can commentary even large, up to you. So those four. So the first one, the conversational one. What that means. Like today we are doing, to talk, communicate, to find information. What's going to happen after die? You know, like for example, what I'm going to do when I die after that? What is going to happen? Where I can go? What I'm going to meet, or who I'm going to meet? Where to go, what to do, things like that after that. Have you ever thinking those? Prepared after that, like preparation, prepared now. I was in over a month ago. I was in Nepal, India. And before I went there, I planned probably over years. Someone helped me. That time we the information. Okay, where to go, which place to go, the monasteries, how long, how many days I'm going, which monastery I'm going, who I'm going to meet. Lots of WeChat communications too. You know, things like that. Preparation, conversation. Okay, this place to go, where to meet, things like that. It's lots. Find information, lots. No, I didn't just go. Okay, I'm going to India and Nepal, but before go, contemplate. I planned. I what do you call the conversation, about conversation to where to go, who to meet. So things like that, basically. And then I became more clear to me. And then when I went there, exactly the day, the time, place where go, very, very good. Even when you go to holiday, some people like 2-3 years before their plan, right? That's the one way. It's nice. Then you go where you want. Some people just get up and they get ready and they go see what happens. That's also really good, right? Like sometimes you go to holiday, sometimes better don't plan. Do you do that? Yeah. And some, you know, it's like a holiday kind. But this case, I think when after die, then you have a plan or just find out what information before. So that basically is traveling, journey kind of. For the dying is like a journey. So first, this conversational is try to find all the information through the book also, or through the teachings. And also, I think there's many things on the Google, right? Google, You can find also lots of information through Google too. So things like that, or teachers, or book, anyway. So that's the way different religions about what is happening after die. Okay, that's is so important. Like I mentioned yesterday, and that people when they travel in other country, they do lots preparation, find information and things like that. But without that, it's a very struggle. To me, same thing when I escaped from Tibet, and without any knowledge, how long it takes from here, there, which kind of food I need, which kind of clothes do I need. So without that, lots of struggle. I almost died, as I mentioned to you. So something like that. So same thing for the death. Is that the first preparation is conversational. Okay, that's important as much as you can with the people who are comfortable to talk to each other, internet or books, religions, teachers. Then second one, imaginational. So for the imaginational meaning is also it's important practicing imagining or visualizing. What does the Pure Land look like? What does the Buddha land look like or would be? Who is the Shinla Oker? What does the Shinla Oker look like? Who is Shep Chama, the wisdom-loving mother? And she looked like a beautiful, smiling, shining, with full of compassion, radiating, beautifully ornamented, with jewelries, and how beautiful standing outside is same as internally also how beautiful the qualities she has in, with the compassion, with the knowledge, wisdom in her. So things like that, I'm visualizing her whenever I have time. We're her mandala, like a beautiful garden. There's trees growing, there's beautiful flowers, there's a water font. Beautiful around where the surround of Shepchama. Like a refugee tree. If you see Tanka, that's like a symbol, but it's amazing, beautiful, enlightened state. So when you visualize like that again and again, then what happened? Then after that, you actually meet a Vidya that comes to you like real. You already had connection during lifetimes. It's during lifetime when you do this, it purifies you. Whatever you connecting, that's who you are becomes. Or you connect to the anger, stress, or and resentment to somebody, and that's who you are becomes. But if I'm thinking, focusing Shinla Oker or Shepchama, then that's who I becomes. You know, so things like that. So I try to basically for preparation. One is imaginational to practice the beautiful place where I'm sitting, even though sitting in your living room. But you can imagine this is the most beautiful place where you're sitting. Or Buddha land, you can imagine. And who you're sitting with? Shepchama, Shinla Oker, Buddha of compassion, the wisdom-loving mother. You are sitting beautifully with a surround. Okay, so then now you build relationship in your heart to the Buddhas or Buddha land. And then when you die, then you get there. They will appear in your state of mind or in your heart. So that way, after that, then that helps you If you never thinking, imagine those, then maybe never made anything about anyone. You know, things like that. Then that's the second. And then third is ethical. Ethical meaning is also very important to take a responsibility to practice of the 3 doors, basically. 3 doors, Tibetan called the Gosun. 3 doors are the actions, the words, and the intention. Whenever you're acting, be aware and take responsibility to create positive actions and avoid from negative actions as much as you can. That doesn't mean we can be perfect always a positive action, but try your best. Because consequences, if you action negative action, and the consequence comes back to either this life or next life, or one day they just, that's the way. Do you think if I punching you, you're going to punch me back? Do you think, that people do, right? Reaction like that. So whatever I'm doing something negative, it comes back to me. If I'm charming you, hugging you, you will hug me, do you think? We do, right? That's just natural, logical. So same thing, but using the positive and comes back positive, negative come back. Therefore, be aware and take responsibility with your actions. Positive action as much as you can. And then that's ethical, that's preparation basically for you. For that, but also for the living. And then speech, also words. Whatever your words using, make sure those words are gentleness and also truth, benefit, effectiveness for others. Not whatever you're saying for the ego or things like that. Harsh words or hurts for others. Try to avoid those words as much as you can in your best of ability. And the speech door, and then the mind door or heart door, the door of the body, door of the speech, and door of the mind. They're actually 3 locations: body, speech, mind. So mind, intention. Okay, and same thing. Word also intention. So to also have a pure intention. How can I benefit for others? Whatever you are doing, what can I do to make other person comfortable? For example, when we meet someone, what we do is many times our intention is, how can I show how wonderful I am? I don't know, wonderful, but a nice person. Make sure that I don't want other person think I'm nasty or negative. Right? Those things like the selfish, focusing for self. Make sure that the other person doesn't think not nice to me or something, I don't know, good. Instead that sometimes when you do, okay, I don't care, whatever you're thinking of me, I don't care. What can I do this moment, maybe 1 minute, 1 hour, spend time with the other person? What can I do make other person very comfortable to help? Maybe sometime, maybe I can do something, listen to that person. Maybe I can do smiling, or maybe I can do something to advise. Depends. But my intention is just something I want to do, benefit for others. And then when you do that, to me, When I do that, there's no ego, there's no me to protect and stress. No focus on others. So I'm very peaceful, very comfortable myself too at the same time. That's not my intention, but still it is. And then also other person can feel like that, which is my intention, like, you know. So then it's good for the others and for myself. And that's kind of practicing also the consequences. It's good for this life, but also when I die with this good heart is continuously. So wherever you go, whoever you meet, never changes, doesn't change. Okay, so that we call the door of the mind, intention. Try always take responsibility or try your best of your ability to do something good. Whatever your action, whatever you talk, that intention, base of that intention is, how can I do for benefit others? So when you do that, basically benefit yourself is spontaneous if you benefit others. Okay, so ethical is basically those try to take responsibility of the 3 doors. I think it counts down 3 doors, make sure that try to avoid creating negative from those doors and try to do positive from those doors. Who can do that? Me. I'm the only one who can do. I can only control myself, not you or anybody else, really. Some people maybe try, but reality, I cannot control anybody. Only I can control is my own. Which one? My own 3 doors. Body, speech, mind. Okay, so that's ethical is to do that. And when you do those kind, at least be aware. Even I'm hurting with the physically, verbally, or mentally, but at least I'm aware. Is step 1. Once I'm aware, then maybe avoid from the negativities to create and try to be more positive. But if I'm not aware, then probably continuously we keep doing again and again, becomes habit. Right? Okay, so that's the ethical. Or also for the ethical, something also, many things you don't have to do your own, like body, speech, mind, but also sometimes either other people doing something good for others, rejoice. Oh, how wonderful this person doing something really nice, compassion, kindness, or to benefit somebody else. When I see that, oh, how wonderful! I'm so happy, grateful that this person can do somebody else. When you do that, it's also same as you're doing. Many times we think I'm doing some benefit for others, but you don't have to. Or either someone else is doing is good, or then we call also you can inspiring somebody, same as equally you're doing. Either somebody like who is ready to me to say, different way you can inspire for others. And same thing what you're doing. There's many ways you can do, not just for yourself, but also inspiring for others or other person doing something good. Rejoice. Okay, so basically, ethical is try to avoid creating negativities and creating positives as much as you can. Okay, that's ethical. And that leads for the life, but also for after die. Then, yeah. Also, for the ethical part, I would like to, one thing I think very important is, if I ask you, do you have anybody who really want to to do something good or have good relationship with each other, but you don't have? Do you have anybody in your life wish have good relationship, but you don't? Do you have? Yeah. So what you can do, you can't control that person, but you can control you, right? That I mentioned to you. What you can do is don't waiting for tomorrow. Today, even after this this teaching, phone. Hello, the person you want. Whatever you wish, whatever you want to say something. If the person dying tomorrow, what would you want to say? Or if you are dying tomorrow, what do you want to say? I love you. I forgive you. I know we had this kind of difficult. I've been like this, and you also doing. I'm doing this, but it's the past. I'm tired. I want to say this is what I wish. Make sure that there's no regrets. There's no unfinished business. Whatever your side want to say and do everything you have ability. Do now. Do it now. Don't waiting for tomorrow. Before too late. Many people holding this resentment, the bitterness, everything here, and then waiting for other person say something like that. We do waiting, and then other person doesn't, and you don't act. Other person probably waiting like you do, or wish what you wish, but doesn't act. Then what happened? Sooner or later, if the other person dies, then what happened? Not even more pain, more frustrating, more disappointed, depressed, more suffering. Instead that, only you can responsibility, you can control you. Other person maybe changing, maybe never change. It's okay. That's the other person's choice. Your choice is do it now. Everything from your side, there's nothing, any holding. Your acting is compassion and loving and saying the word, everything. Then you feel peace. June now, after you do, you feel peace. And then also after die, either you die or other person died, you know in your heart you have done everything. There's nothing holding in you. It's okay. I'm at peace. Okay, so that's very important. Just relax. Sometimes we need to relax. Relax. We're holding our body. Just relax. Relax our relationships. Just take it relax. Take it easy. Nobody perfect. You're not perfect. The other person also not perfect. Other person and you want the same goal. That's it. I would think we have to clear. Other person want to be happy. Don't want pain and suffering. You the same. Only the problem is other person doesn't know how to be happy, peace, or to do like acting world, to do something, say those things, and you don't know how to. That's the problem. Okay, so that way Just take it relax, take it easy, and do it now. Whatever your side. Okay. Also, in a part of this ethical, there's many ways to basically be mindful, be awareness. Be aware, like I said, action, speech, word, but also be mindful, live in a present moment now. Because tomorrow, you never know. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Yesterday is already gone, finished. It's only really is now, today. Today is real. So don't miss today, this precious day, precious moment. Because tomorrow is another day. Today is the only today. If this passed, that's it. Never come back. You never find again. And tomorrow, same thing. If you miss, then again. And what happened usually, if you don't be living mindfully every day or in your life, what happened? Waste. Life is waste. And then at the end of the life, now you're dying. So what happened? Or even in the teaching saying, and also the doctors, they're saying the same thing. That most people holding and struggling now. Oh, I haven't done that. I didn't say that. I didn't do this. I wish I have done that. I did like that. And or some people have nothing, empty, and then they don't want to die. Because why? They don't remember. They have now too late, and they don't even many times they don't remember what did I do. Because I miss all those years, days. But if you're living mindfully, yes, today is most precious day. I want to relax. I want to share with whoever. Be mindfully. That day you remember very clear. And tomorrow the same thing. Each day you live like that. Then at the end of the day, year, and dying. And then when I'm thinking back, I said, yeah, I had a good life. I remember I lived a long time. And now I'm okay. I'm ready to die. But if we don't living mindfully each day, then they're saying that, and the doctor said, oh, now you're going to die now, either within a day or hour or a week. Then they're saying what you can do is when you look at you're upside down, sitting like this, and then looking up the ceiling. Only you can count in your mind is only ceiling. That's what I say. You only see ceiling. That's it. But if you mindfully, yeah, I have done this, I have great time with this, I did this, is a struggle or challenges or joyful, whatever you have, is all comes to you. Then you say, life is good. It's good. Okay, so that is very important for ethical, just living mindfully as much as you can. In order to do that, what you do, wash the dishes is also really good. I just wrote notice. I love the dishes. And washing dishes or things like that, and mindfully. You're cleaning your karma, cleaning the universe, cleaning the suffering. That symbolizes when you're washing the dishes. Wash it away. Just this. Even you open the door, what do you do? I'm opening the door of enlightenment. When you walk, I'm walking towards freedom, from the suffering, not just for myself, but for benefit others. You know? Even like a debate. You know, we debate. Many times people think, oh, debate is I'm going to win, you're going to lose, you're wrong, I'm right. That's most people debating is like that, right? You are incorrect, I'm correct. I'm right, you're wrong. Is that people debate? But actually, the debate, our traditionally debate has make sure three negative emotions you have to eliminate. Make sure that the three positive intentions has to be practiced, cultivated. So three negative intentions are to yourself become a win of ego or pride. Do you understand? I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to write of myself with the ego or pride. And then make sure other person going to lose with anger, frustration. I'm angry that you're wrong and you're going to lose. And without knowing of your view, my view, ignorance. The ignorance, anger, and pride. If you have those negative emotions, should it be eliminated before, during or before you debate? If you have that, then your debate is not correcting debate. Won't benefit anything. I'm going to win, you're going to lose. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right of ego, you're wrong of anger, and without each other's view, ignorance, confusion with that, doesn't go anywhere, doesn't benefit anything for myself or others. So then what to do? Three positive intentions. Do you understand? I wish to also to cultivate, to develop my understanding of as wisdom. And the reason I'm debating with the other person, my intention to wish the other person's misunderstanding, misconceptions, and wrong views, or anything that ignorance, or have anything that person have struggled with it is discussing or debate, purifies and clarify. That is my intention, to helping other person. When we talk to each other, helps myself, my wisdom, helps make sure that it purifies their misconception, misunderstanding, and wrong view or ignorance. That the person has no struggle that, free from that. So that's my intention. And then also to make sure that for both of you equally understand, developed, not just one person side of the view, to both of you. When I have those three positive intentions, then whatever I'm doing in debating is the base of the intention, then it's really good. Okay, so even for things like that, the debating. And when you meet somebody else, what do you say? Oh, I meet another compassionate being, manifestation of a Buddha. Even any ordinary beings. Do you know what is like namaste means? Namaste, when in India meet each other, namaste means I respect God within you. I think that's my understanding. I don't know. Something like that, basically. Meaning is I see God in you. Meaning is that I see the Buddha nature in you. Again, mindfulness. I'm not just looking at your external appearances, how nice dress you're wearing, how nice looking you are, or how terrible dressing you are, how not ugly your appearances you are. I'm not looking for those, like external. That's just external. That's not who you are. Who you are is within you. Beyond that is you have a Buddha nature. I have Buddha nature. Everyone has Buddha nature. So I'm focused that I see in Buddha nature in you. No matter what actions are strange, things like that doesn't matter. And when you do that, peace for yourself and also for others, harmony between two. Okay, so that basically is also ethical. Ethical, a little bit long, but maybe useful. And then the fourth is meditational. Okay, ethical, yeah. The fourth one is meditational. So meditation is also very important to meditate. Maybe my question to you, what do you think the purpose of the meditation, the main purpose of meditation? Release the stress? Is it? What is it? The main purpose of meditation, my understand, is to purify, to liberate my inner negative emotions. Those emotions create suffering for myself and others, such as negative emotion means such as anger, jealous, ignorance, pride, attachment. All these emotions creates me suffering and lots of stress and lots of sufferings endlessly. So only way I want freedom is through meditation. If I meditate, reduce those emotions, more and more reduce those emotions, then arise and cultivate spontaneous more wisdom, more compassion. It's very true. If you have lots of anger, then you have less compassion to whoever the person. If you have less anger towards that person, you have maybe more compassion or kindness towards that person. Right? Anyway, things like that. So that's why try to basically the purpose of meditation is, to me, is to purify negative emotions and brings more joy, peaceful. And particularly the meditation is like wisdom to purify the ignorance. That's the root of all emotions. Okay, so that's, I think, important to probably you know already, but the purpose of the meditation for that. In the Tibetan tradition, usually there's many methods of meditation, many different methods, but meditation itself has only two types of meditation. either Tibetan or Bon or non-Buddhism or Buddhism, Hinduism, or anyone who practices meditation, there's only two types of meditation. That's my understanding. One, meditation with attribute. One is a meditation without attribute. Yeah, you can write down those. Meditation with attribute meaning is something focused on either breath, either light, either letter, either tree, ocean, river, anything. Could be anything that's something attribute you focus on. Okay, that's meditation with attribute. And then that's usually what first people focus in that. Through something hold on, you can focus, concentrate. Developing basically concentration. And when you do that, and then when you become comfortable with the focus on, and then you don't need any attribute. That's we call it semi meditation without attribute. Directly to look into your mind, emptiness. Okay, so maybe my question: what is easiest for you to focus on in your life? Many times we can't focus to anything you do. I want you to think about it. You don't have to answer to me, but what you can think. Something you can focus easier and brings more stillness, peace in you. You can focus. Which one? Some people for the garden. When they're gardening, spontaneously. Some people walking. Some people breathing. Breathing in, out. Some people music. Certain music. When they play, right away they can focus on. Whatever brings for you that easy to be focused, then that you should use more really often. And that's inspiring others. That you should more practice in focus. And through that practice, when you focus that and develop that, then you can use that experience to any kind of object. And you know how to focus on. If I know how to focus with the breath, then I can know how to focus with the tea, drinking tea. Nothing else. I'm focusing on the tea. Now to that, I can focus to this ball, as long as I wish. Now I also know how to focus with you when we're talking to each other. Okay, so things like that. We need whatever. Some people try this term, and then you figure out whatever object that's easy for you to focus, and that you should use for meditation. Okay, so that's one type of meditation. As I said, method has different methods. Some people method is breathing. Some people method is visualization, movement, sound, chanting, different things. And everybody has different connections. So each individual has to decide. We cannot say this is the only one is good for you. Okay. So when you, but in the Bardo teaching, Bardo part, since this teaching this weekend is Bardo, for meditation, I recommend to you, we should more experience and more practice those 3 bardos. That I would like to focus on. Maybe I can guide you later. But first, I want you to understand how you do it. So, first one is first, when meditation, or we should experience for the first bardo. The first bardo is bardo of nature state. Nipaji bardo. The bardo of natural state meaning is like emptiness, the same as emptiness. So we should experiencing and practicing every day emptiness of mind. Have you ever practiced emptiness? Okay. That's good sign, majority. So that's, I think also that we call that some lamas, you're asking the lamas who will introduce you, the natural state, your nature of mind, where it come from, how there's specific methods, and also teachings, doctrine, particularly view of doctrine. And those I think important to instruction first, and then now try to experiencing that. Some people takes maybe months, years, sometimes maybe many years to actually receiving experience for the first bardo or bardo natural state or natural state. Okay, so there's maybe I'm going to explain. It just comes to me. Whatever teachings comes to me, I want to share with you. I hope you understand. First, first one, the natural state, bardo of natural state. What okay, now comes to me about the spirit right now. I want to share something to you, but again, when I'm thinking in my head, then just the spirit. Anyway, what the natural state, bardo of natural state, what it is beyond the conception, beyond the thinking, beyond the words. That I can say that beyond words, but whatever I'm saying is just words. Emptiness, I can say emptiness, 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 emptiness this, emptiness that, emptiness look like this, whole bunch of words I can use. Do you think you understand? You won't really. Maybe you have some kind of idea, but the idea is not real. Real, with this my idea I will instructing to you, and then the method basically the method I can share with you, idea I can share with you, but who has to experience? Do you think? You, your own. So your own, when you practice, then you know, you experience through the methods. Like for example, if I say you walk this way and get here, and this is the way you go, this takes the time, all the information, whatever I'm saying, that's communication, conversation, but actually to really you get their destination, you have to walk. Once you get there, and then you know it. That knowing is beyond the word. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. So now come back what I want to share with you. Dzogchen. I said Dzogchen, the natural state. In the Dzogchen view, what does the Dzogchen means? Dzogchen. Dzog means perfection. Chin means great perfection. Okay, this I think very important. When Shazar Rinpoche, who is Rainbow Master, the Shazar Rinpoche, what he says, Dzogchen, I thought this really, to me, makes sense to me. Dzogchen, great perfection. Great. What is great? When you have when you have the instruction, it is great. Great, like somebody instructing, like walk. This is how you walk. Lama can give you instruction. This is walk, how you go, things like that, and all the information, all the methods to share with you. Right? Then some people to walk through that takes a long time to get the destination, to experience. Right? Maybe sometimes just the whole life, or sometimes maybe next life, whatever, but you got instruction. Some people have this instruction, like a great, but not perfect yet, because they never had experience. The perfect meaning is experienced. Great means instruction. Instruction of what? Instruction of natural state. Great of perfect, or what a perfect of what? Perfect is that experienced with the natural state. Do you understand? Are you following me? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this, if basically what I'm saying, if someone has instruction of a natural state and also experienced with the instruction, you are great perfection. You got great perfection. But many people who are met, they never learned Dzogchen or Buddhist philosophy and things like that, never. But they had experiencing something perfect. Everything is a perfect in that state. Could it be 1 minute? Could it be 1 hour? But they had amazing experience. And many people told me, "What is that, Lama?" But they don't have instruction. Nobody instructing. This is this. Introduced. This is that. So that person is perfect, but not great. And many people have all the instructions how to experiencing the natural state, but never had experience. After years practicing, for those people, great, but not perfect yet. When you get both instruction and experience, now to you had a great perfection, and then to develop with that, you're great. You're a Dzogchen practitioner. That I don't know. That makes to me make sense of that. Of course, Rainbow Master, but Shazar Rinpoche say. So what my point to here is first Bardo. I think when you meditate, should be practicing, experiencing the first Bardo. Okay, so what is first Bardo? Is example. I can give you as example. Example of first bardo is a pure blue sky, beyond the clouds, clouds, or moon stars, just pure, infinite space. When you're gazing in that state, you are experiencing the natural state of first bardo. And that's what we should do every day. Like almost like this. Have you been in Disneyland? Disneyland, right? Yeah. You get in the ship, spaceship, and you go out. I remember one time I had the experience. That's similar for me when you have this emptiness experience. You get in, ride on the ride, and suddenly you go like so fast, and then you go into. Suddenly you reach into the middle of space, peace. Then you see nothing. Everything is space, infinite. Meaning is all the effort, so many thousands all the time, thinking after thinking, feeling after feelings, positive, negative, whatever, the pleasure, pain, or whatever. When you all those passing, all those, you originally, when you go back, your state of mind, deeper, and then infinite space, beyond the thoughts, beyond the perceptions, conceptions. And that look like to me is that, for example, the bardo of natural state like that. Okay. So in order to do that, maybe you should practice. So once in a while, you need to stop everything, letting go everything, and remain in natural state. Meditate. Don't stuck. Don't chasing the thinking here, thought here, just passing all those away. And slowly, you're beyond those. Maybe don't expect you're going to reach that right away, or 1 minute to 2 minutes. Maybe it takes hours, takes years, days. Doesn't matter, as long as it takes. When you reach there, then experiencing and familiar with that. That's part of meditation. And then what happens during lifetime is very effectiveness, very peaceful, pleasure. And then when you die, you also again have experienced that first bardo. And then you recognize that, and you can remain that or abide in that right away. Okay, that's the one method for meditation part. It's good for this life and also after. And then the second bardo, yesterday I think I told you, 3 bardo, right? What are they? Bardo of natural state, clear light, bardo, becoming. Okay, the clear light bardo is like you are looking again infinite space of sky, and suddenly sunlight shining towards the space, and moonlight shining towards space, and this beautiful stars light shining into space, different kind of colors, radiating, basically radiating into space. Just example, I just give you an example. Or rainbow light, rainbow into space. Those rainbow could be manifest appearance as maybe Shilchama, medicine Buddha, Shinla ochre, different colors. Shinla ochre is white, Shilchama is yellow, medicine Buddha is blue, and different kind of colors. if you have a relationship with those deities or Buddhas in this life, those clear light, those lights appears as guidance of Buddha, guidance is Buddha or deity, depends whatever you have relationship with. But you have relationship with your primordial awareness, light. Is everybody? Either you have no connection with the Buddha or deity, or you have, doesn't matter. We have already connected with the element. The water color is what is it? Blue, yellow. Oh, sorry, earth.
Yellow.
Then the wind,
Green.
Fire,
Red.
space.
White.
Yeah. So space come from the pure light of white. Each of these solid elements come from the beyond the solid which is the light. Okay, so those are we already primordially connected, so they will appear. Everybody, part of a clear light, the second one. And the plus, if you have connection with, for example, my idiom is Shebchama, wisdom loving mother, and then I believe when I die, I practice every day Shebchama. When I die, the yellow light or colors or whatever, or Shebchama will be there, appears to me. Because every day that's how I live and practicing. So when I die, she will be there, appeared. As long as open my eyes. There's no eyes after die, right? But we'll meet. And you have to build a relationship and trust that too. I believe that. Yes.
Do you see the form of Shirajama, or is it
Yes.
just a yellow light? No,
Could it be yellow light or could it be Shebchama? Yes.
You see that? Okay,
Yes.
Great, thank you.
How depends how. That's not my main meaning.
Yeah.
And if you are practicing, and then becomes where the place where is Shebchama's mandala, the guidance is Shebchama, and around me manifesto of Shebchama, guiding me, leading me to enlightenment. They're not something from outside also. They're part of me. I'm manifest, are unified. Shebchama, me. There's no differences. That's also very important. Remember, there's no dualistic. We think one way, relatively, Shebchama here, I'm here. But ultimately, Shebchama, me, there is no difference. I don't know, are you ready there to understand? Sometimes people don't understand, but there's always, remember two, relative and ultimate. Ultimately, different. There's no difference. Relatively different. Yeah. I'm going to do that. Yeah, Svajamo, Yeshwamo. Sorry, Shebchama. Yeshwamo and Svajamo is more protector and more wrathful. Shebchama is more peaceful. Yeah. Anyway, so things like that. So that way, the second practice, clear light. Sometimes for the method of practice is sometimes you're just sitting like this, just relax, letting go everything as much as you can, and just wait. And slowly, there's a light appears. And sometimes you can see when you relax, and there's a big bright light. They're like, oh, there's the sun shining right here. When open, nothing. Feels like the sunlight here, very bright. So that is again your nature, your own mind, basically that is connecting. Also, emptiness, infinite is also in your own mind. The first bardo, okay, one way maybe you understand it. One way, the first bardo you're going to experience is the essence of your own mind. can write down if you want. Essence of your mind. And then second bardo is energy of your own mind from the essence. And then third bardo is a reflection of your own mind from essence and energy. Reflection. Okay, so those three, just different ways, just describe a different thing, but still you're experiencing your own mind. Either bardos you go through. Yeah. Maybe we should wait until questions later. Okay, so things like that. So those three basically bardo. You can meditate on that and experiencing that during lifetimes. And part of the preparation, more you practice, more familiar with that, and then it's good. When you die, you will meet them and be peaceful and liberate you. Okay, so basically that I recommend you, since this work weekend, focusing the bardo, and those three are I think you should do every day, meditate. Okay. So most time people think, oh, bardo practice is after die. No, bardo practice should now, every day. In practice bardo. First bardo, second bardo, third bardo. In Dzogchen Nyingji, these three bardo called the first bardo, second bardo, third bardo. First bardo of natural state, second bardo of clear light, third bardo of becoming. Okay, so those three. Okay, that's one thing. And then finish for the meditational. And then fifth, intellectual. Then I will guide you on those for the 5 preparation. The fifth one of preparation is intellectual. Basically, for the intellectual, in this part, I could say many things, but one simple thing to discover your mind, your ripa, basically your own ripa. So the mind, if I ask you, where is your mind? If I ask you, where is it? Do you believe you have mind? Oh, maybe you don't have mind. You have mind, right? Where is it? You should be watching all the time. You should be watching, like watching your baby sitting. Maybe something like that. You should watch your mind instead of just live wild wherever you want to go, your mind want to go. You should take care, look after. But so where is it? Mind. How many? Okay, so things like that. Maybe better question. Maybe I'm going to basically. I'm not asking. I'm going to share with you. Then hopefully you maybe get it. Mind has two types of a mind. Maybe you can write down 2 types of a mind called the Sim and the Rigpa, S-A-N. Sim, S-E-M maybe, Sim. Rigpa, R-I-G-P-A. Rigpa. Sim and Rigpa. The Sim is meaning in English, ordinary mind. Rigpa is original mind. Sim, the ordinary mind, where located? One way could be anywhere. Okay, anywhere. But mainly where located? In the brain, in the head. The ordinary mind located in the head most of the time. And then Rigpa located where? In the heart, most time. But it can be anywhere, everywhere, anywhere. Okay, those two. Sim and Rigpa. So now we often remain in the same mind, in the head, thinking, intellectual, always thinking, and the dualistic, same mind like always dualistic. Dualistic means whatever you see something in your mind, and the dualistic is difference. If I look at you, you are different than me, I'm different than you. Separation. You're here, there, I'm here. You know, things like that in that state of the mind. Rigpa, when I see you from my Rigpa, oh, you're part of me. Non-dualistic mind. You are not different than me, I'm not different than you. We are unified, we are same. Like a meditation. You know, anything you look at it very deeply, then you unify it. And this is a part of me, I'm part of that. That's why earlier I told you, I mentioned to you yesterday, like a meditation method is instead of focusing here, focus here. The same thing, when you see, feel something in your heart, then you unify. There's no non-dualistic. Rigpa is non-dualistic mind. Okay. So when you practice those two, indicating Sim and Rigpa. What is a Sim? What is a Rigpa? The Rigpa, Sim creates more suffering, more stress. Rigpa brings more pleasure, more peaceful, more compassion. When you understand, indicate those, Simri Yereme, unification of the Sim and Rigpa. Practice unification of Sim and Rigpa. Merge instead of separate. So that is intellectual, part of the intellectual practice one. Then one thing, then we finish. Okay, one thing that this is very helpful for me. How can I explain? Okay, this maybe this is our problem the most time. I'm always see what I see, and that, but I don't really never thinking what you're seeing. I always thinking whatever I see something beautiful, you should see as beautiful, or if I see as a not nice, you should see as not nice. Do you understand? That's always I expect, and that's why sometimes I see something good, but you don't see, and then I don't like it. Then why you don't see? Why you don't agree with me? There's lots of fighting, arguing, because you don't get what I'm getting. Same thing, your side, you don't understand what are my feelings and my perception. And you expect that me same as your perception. And then that's how between two partners, between two nations, between two religions have problems. Lots of fighting. Right? In the world. But if okay, when I see something, this is only my perception. Doesn't mean everybody sees what I see. I have, how to say, I respect, and I can see that you have also your own perception of what I've seen. So you have different feelings than me. I have different feelings than you. You have different perception than me. I'm different perception than you. I have different perception. Could it be same? But if I see and respect with you, then between us harmony. You know harmony between us, because I know you have different me, and then I can listen, I can understand, I can get it, and things like that. Okay, so that's basically very important, the intellectual part to practice. Remember, this is only your view, this is only your perception, this is your own experience. Doesn't mean the other person has. So remember, respect the other has different. So pay attention to their respect, their perception, and their feelings. And when I do that and you do that, same thing, then we both merge in compassion, harmony to each other. Okay, so that's all I want to share with you. Now, finish today. Now, I would like to basically meditate a little bit for how many? 5 minutes, yeah. So let's practice. Let's practice for those 3 bottles. And also, one thing I want to share with you before that. Often we are thinking that after die, there's lots of struggles or challengings and things like that. But the one way, there is not. Many cases, more freedom after die. For example, after external stage and internal stage of death completed, then what happened? First bardo, second bardo, and third bardo appears one by one. I'm not sure you understand, but those 3 those first bardo, second bardo, those are the first, particularly first and second bardo is the most beautiful and peaceful you have ever experienced. Completely freedom. Right now we don't have freedom because we're always attached and stuck, or always attachment with anything. But when you first bardo, second bardo, you liberate, you're free. Okay, so most important is to recognize those 3 bardo. Oh, I'm experiencing the first bardo. This is the first bardo I'm experiencing, not just as a seeing, but I'm recognized. I'm experiencing. This is the first bardo that I already have experienced in this life. I have been practiced. As soon as you recognize when you have been experiencing this bardo, first or second or even third bardo, instantly you become enlightened. Like that. But if you don't recognize, then that experience will be disappeared, will be merged into next bardo. And that next bardo, if you don't recognize that as the second bardo, then disappeared or merged the third bardo. And then third bardo you don't recognize, even though you're experiencing, and then they disappeared, or then merged rebirth. And then again, like that. One by one. If you want a peaceful death, and that's how you experiencing now, and then you will experience after finish the death of this body. Okay, that's one thing. So let's do maybe a few minutes. this is a method for you. We probably cannot experiencing something, but just idea. Sitting comfortably every time you practice. Physically comfortable sitting called 5-point posture, which is cross leg, straight your spine, open your chest, slightly bend your neck, and comfortable with hand posture. That's the first step. Then second is breathing exercise. Take a deep 3 breaths at least. Breathing in slowly, gently through nostrils, into your belly, and hold as long as you can. The power of a breath and awareness purifies any stress, any intensity in your body and the mind spontaneously. So release, exhale. Again. Hold as long as you can. And exhale. One more. And exhale. Now, take a moment. Now go deeper inward. We're always wandering outside. Outside means with the 5 senses or 5 doors. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. What do we see through eyes, hearing through sound? We stuck with those. But instead of wandering out, now when you meditate for the first this bardos, remember inward, looking inside you. Inside nature state of your own mind is the heart occasion, which is infinite space. Pass all the thoughts, all the feelings, deeper, 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 deeper. Suddenly, you reach to the infinite space beyond any dualistic perceptions, feelings. Experiencing that. Remain that as long as you can. Maybe habit, maybe going back, but remember, be aware, letting go, and keep going, remaining to that space, infinite space within you. So you are experiencing your first bardo, the essence of your mind that you never facing, never experienced. Now you have opportunity to experiencing that, facing that. As many times as you can, as long as you wish. not just experiencing, but also familiar with that. Into that now second part of practice, infinite that space, there arise of the light of the sun and the moon, radiating to the sky, space. You may discover that if you wait and relax enough, those lights radiating in space manifest even enlightened beings, compassionate beings. Such as the Shenlaoka, Buddha of Compassion, or Shepchama, Wisdom Loving Mother. Guiding, leading all beings. In third bardo, there's many like the stars passing and shooting in different directions. Remember, just be aware. Different sizes of stars, moon, and sun, clouds. There comes and goes temporarily. Thoughts just appears and then gone. Remember, they don't stay at one always there. Just comes and goes. So what you're doing is just be aware. You're watching them, but you're not attaching them. You're not involved in. You just observe them. If a thought comes, letting them come. If they go, letting them go. Keep doing this, letting go of thought comes and goes. And watching the thoughts is the third part of practice. Sometimes positive thought, sometimes negative thought, sometimes positive feelings, sometimes negative feelings. You are not judging, you are only watching them. Okay, good. So now slowly, that's how you do slowly, gently, you can open your eyes. Just short for the method for you. And then we're going to take a break. Okay.